gonna get on the internet and defend a man, okay? Unless he absolutely deserves it. And Justin Baldoni is not that man. It was so good. I hate that for me. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Neida, and if you're watching this, this is hopefully the first video that I'm putting up in the new year of 2025. Starting the year fresh, we're starting the year fun, flirty, and today I'm going to do a video that honestly was inspired by the It Ends With Us controversy, but I had a bunch of ideas based off of that I'm going to jump off. Today I'm going to be talking about things that I was wrong about in the year of 2024. As a bitch that loves to yap on the internet, I very often say things and then 2 months later, 3 months later, a year later, I'm like, I don't agree with that. Or I say things and I stand 10 toes down in them and I'm like, why are you booing me? I'm right. So today I wanted to talk about all of the things that, some of them more serious, some of them more cheeky, but things that I feel like I was wrong about in the year of 2024, whether that is like an opinion that I still hold very strongly, but the entirety of the rest of the world seems to think that I'm wrong, or if it's something that I'm genuinely like, no, I was wrong and I need to rectify the situation. If you're new here, my name is Neida. I make videos on this channel about literally whatever I want to talk about. Sometimes it's books, sometimes it's movies, sometimes it is random pop culture happenings, but I post on here as frequently as I can, and I'm currently in grad school. If you're interested in supporting me on my journey in grad school, I have a link to my GoFundMe down below where you can contribute, as well as links to my Patreon and my YouTube membership page where you get monthly extra videos. So if any of that interests you, you can check out the description box below. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you are interested in my face or anything that I have to say. And let's get right on into it. We're gonna start off with the It Ends With Us drama. If you didn't see last year in about October when the whole situation was popping off, I made a video about the It Ends With Us drama between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. I will link it up in the cards and down below in the description box. I was going to initially make this video last week when Blake's filing came out and the whole thing about him like allegedly sexually harassing her on set came out, and then I decided to wait a little bit because, you know, I don't know, I forget to do things, but more information has come out and I would say that I was wrong and right at the same time. So if you didn't see that video, basically what I said was that I think that the It Ends With Us drama, or I thought that the It Ends With Us drama from like August of 2024 was mainly a PR stunt between Blake and Justin to get more people to go see the movie. Not that their disdain for each other was a stunt. Like, I think that they truly did not like each other, but the way that it was being played up in the media almost, to me, was giving PR stunt. Now, I don't think that it was a PR stunt anymore because Blake's filing has revealed that, like, yeah, there are a lot of legitimate reasons that she had for not liking Justin, not wanting to be around him, and not being interested in promoting the movie with him. There's also, I think, I'm not gonna get on the internet and defend a man, okay, unless he absolutely deserves it. And Justin Baldoni is not that man, okay? That being said, I think the situation is more nuanced than the internet pendulum would like for it to be. We have a tendency as people, as I mentioned in the video, to get tired of one narrative and to desire a swing in the other direction. The narrative for a long time had been Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are this great Hollywood power couple. We love them. Look at them and their 4 kids. They're so quirky. They're always like ribbing each other on Instagram or whatever the fuck. And the whole It Ends With Us thing comes in and presents an alternative narrative. Actually, they're annoying. Actually, they're mean and rude, and they are a Hollywood powerhouse couple that is using their power and influence to punch down on the little guy. I think both of those are very extreme interpretations, and the truth lies somewhere in the middle. The thing that I think is happening now is that everyone is going, well, because Blake Lively filed this lawsuit, again, if you haven't seen, it's not even a lawsuit, it's a complaint really, with like a New York Times story attached. I'll give credit where credit is due. Okay. I hate a Virgo and I hate an August Virgo, but I'm not afraid to give credit where credit is due. The complaint was filed on a Friday evening. Within 24 hours, there was a New York Times article all about the lawsuit and everything that had gone down. They had private text messages from the PR firm. They had screenshots of TikToks. They had screenshots of Reddits. They had information to really bulk it out. And this all happening on a weekend right before a major holiday. Justin Baldoni's legal team is not going to have enough time to assemble a response to this before the public opinion starts to settle in, which is really the thing that happens with like PR in Hollywood. It's not about who's right, it's about who can control the narrative. Incredibly intelligent strategy, particularly if like me, like I would be in this situation. Blake is pissed because she was treated poorly on this movie that she spent a lot of money to make and that was allegedly about a book that she really cares about. I also 100% believe everything that she is claiming in the lawsuit about feeling uncomfortable on set, about being harassed on set, about being put in uncomfortable situations with the owner of the studio and with Justin himself. Like, I believe all of that 100%. There are a couple of things about it that stink a little to me, that make it a bit more of a complicated story for me personally than just Blake's right, Justin's wrong, Justin's right, Blake's wrong. I don't think Justin's right. I don't think Blake is wrong. I also don't think that the like pendulum swinging in the opposite direction of like Blake Lively is a queen and a goddess and we can never criticize her ever again, and Justin Baldoni is a dirt monkey who needs to just stay on the ground. I don't think that that's correct either. I think this could be a great moment for us to learn nuance, but likely that's not gonna happen. So there's multiple things happening, which is that she's alleging harassment and misconduct on the set of this movie while they were filming. And then she's also alleging targeted retaliation campaign by Justin Baldoni's crisis PR team to make her look bad as retaliation for her demanding protections on set because of all of the harassment that was going on. The part of it that I am 100% sticking by, yeah, you go girl, do that, is harassment complaint. 100% believe everything happened the way that she said that it happened. I think Justin Baldoni is a nasty man. I think his business partner / podcast co-host is a nasty man. He's a weirdo. I don't like him. The retaliation side is the part where I'm like, I don't know about that, Miss Lively. The idea behind the lawsuit is that the backlash against Blake Lively had to come from a targeted retaliation campaign by Justin's crisis PR. The people disliking Blake Lively all of a sudden was created by this crisis PR team. There's an implication that they were running Reddit accounts, that they were like creating bots, like all of this clandestine stuff to make her look bad during the press tour. However, what I will say, and what many people who have spoken on this topic much more eloquently than I have will say, and I'll link some things down below. There's a TikToker that I really like named Culture Work who did like a 4-part TikTok thing about this that I'll link down below. And then there is the Do We Know Them podcast that I watch every episode that they put out, and they did an episode about it. As is natural, people hear the sexual harassment part and they lump it in with the retaliation thing and they say, well, she was being punished for reporting something that happened to her. When what I think really happened was the crisis PR team monitored and capitalized on, with a couple of well-placed headlines, a retaliation campaign that was already happening kind of organically. Not retaliate, but like a negative, an anti-Blake Lively campaign. And then on the other hand, they changed the tack of Justin's own public relations for the movie, his own promotional scheme for the movie, to make him look better. In contrast to her, yes, but not by purposefully like denigrating and damaging her reputation. I think there was already, like, even before It Ends With Us, the movie came out, a turning of the tide against Blake Lively. And I noticed it when she was cast. I'd say maybe like 5 years ago she was cast as Lily. Everyone would have been like, oh my God, I love her, Queen Blake Lively. I'm so excited to see her in this role. When she was cast, everyone was like, huh? This doesn't make any sense. And then the set pictures come out and everyone's like, she looks kind of bad. And then as the press tour is happening, people are rightfully bringing up the fact that she's not talking about domestic violence. She's promoting her alcohol brand, even though she said she doesn't drink. She's promoting her hair care line, even though her hair looks like shit. Like, her hair has looked amazing. It looked horrible the entire press tour. That's a horrible way to promote your hair care line. If your hair looks great, and then as soon as you start a hair care line, it starts to look bad, that's like terrible PR. It seems like the complaint that she's filing is trying to say that all of that organic backlash against her is Justin Baldoni's fault, when I think in reality what's Justin Baldoni's fault is him harassing her on set. And then people were already primed to be like anti-Blake Lively. The things start to resurface on their own, and then his crisis PR team is able to take advantage of that, to use it to their advantage. So I don't think that this was necessarily like a coordinated hit against Blake Lively. I don't think that this was like a psyop coordinated by Justin Baldoni's team the way that it has been like spun to be. Like, there's all these articles, so you fell for a psyop against Blake Lively, what next, like all of this stuff. I don't think that it was that. I think that it was what I said it was, because quite frankly, I don't know that Justin Baldoni has enough money. Oh well, actually they did say that his business partner was willing to spend as much, up to $100 million to ruin her. That was in the filing. So I guess if and when this goes to court, we'll see, we'll see what the truth ends up being. But Justin Baldoni is now countersuing, claiming that Blake's team was planting stories about how much, like, how bad he is and all, like, trying to ruin his reputation. He's suing the New York Times, all of this stuff. Do I believe that Blake Lively's team was planting antagonistic stories about Justin Baldoni in the media? Yeah, I do.
Do you think I look inbred?
I do.
That's just me. But I also am like, if I was being harassed on set, you bet your ass I would be planting negative stories in the media about the man who sexually harassed me, because he's a freak and I don't like him. Like, yeah, especially if you're in Hollywood and you are used to living a life with impunity where you can basically do and say whatever you want about whoever you want, and then all of a sudden it's not working for a reason that is outside of your control. Like, yeah, I kind of get it. So the thing that I'm the most upset about here is that we have given a Virgo a golden shield, because I truly believe that for the rest of her career now, if anybody says anything negative about Blake Lively, people are going to be like, well, don't you remember that time when Justin Baldoni tried to ruin her? If anything, for that, and for the sexual harassment, and for being a freak. I hate him. Like, I'm mad about that. Not both the leads of Jane the Virgin being freaks. Because we remember you, Miss N-words give me heebie-jeebies, Gina Rodriguez, okay? Both of them being freaks. What's going on with Michael? Like, see somewhere recreating slavery on a plantation? Like, I think too, like, speaking of plantations, honestly, a lot of the criticism about Blake Lively that came out was valid and rooted in things that she did of her own volition and that were within her own control. She did get married on a plantation. She was a bitch to people in interviews. She was kind of a mean girl. She is a little annoying. Like, those things are all true. They don't justify sexual harassment, and they are not valid, like, counterclaims to sexual harassment. Like, well, yeah, I sexually harassed her, but she's kind of a sometimes. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But the criticism that she received online was rooted in those things more so than it was rooted in, like, she's because she complained about sexual harassment. Like, we didn't know about any of that until now. And I think people are spinning the narrative to make it seem like everybody hates when a woman speaks out about things that are wrong, and she was being punished for speaking out about things that are wrong by the public, when really she was being punished for being an annoying person by the public. But you let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm interested in having a conversation with y'all about this, because I think it's an interesting question, and I think it's an interesting situation. The next thing that I was wrong about this year. Apparently A Court of Thorns and Roses. The entire ACOTAR series. Because why has every single influencer in the year of 2024 become obsessed with that book series? I'm peacefully trying to watch a TikTok, a YouTube video, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm reading this great new book. I'm so excited about it. I just got to the best scene. Picks up ACOTAR. Or worse, A Court of Mist and Fury. Look, I understand that reading is fundamental, okay? I understand that it is important that people read books and enjoy the books that they read. And I'll be 100% honest. I enjoyed most of ACOTAR. The first probably like 3/4 of that book, I was having quite a good time reading. It was that last 100 pages that made me go, oh, this bitch thinks I'm stupid. And then we get to A Court of Mist and Fury, where nothing happens. Everything is retconned, and scenes aren't even that good. And then we get to A Court of Wings and Ruin, and finally some stuff is happening, but it's taking forever to happen. And then we get to A Court of Silver Flames, which is the worst one out of the 4. They just keep getting worse and longer. The amount of people who I have seen put ACOTAR in their year-end favorites, it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder, makes me question, makes me think, makes me feel worried and anxious about the state of the world. I feel like I can draw a direct line between the popularity of the ACOTAR series and the rise of Donald Trump. Not to say that you have to be a Trump supporter to like ACOTAR, but I do think something's happening to the American mind that is allowing for that man to thrive the way man is giving it a lot. Pile of pudding to thrive the way that he is thriving. I have several videos about the ACOTAR series, how much I hate it, how bad I think the writing is, how many plot holes there are, how baffled I am that people like it. That being said, I don't like to shame people. I feel like I just did that, but like, I don't like to shame people for the things that they're reading, because at the end of the day, I'm glad that people are reading. I think it's okay for us to sometimes say when things are bad. To say when things are bad, and to say that we think that they're bad and that we're baffled as to how anybody can like them. And that's okay. You know, if that makes you feel bad about yourself and about the things that you like and about your taste, I really am sorry. Like, I genuinely am. I don't like the way that Sarah J. Maas writes women. I don't like the way that she pathologizes women's body outside of like a loving commitment. Like, a woman can have sex with her partner, her mate, as much as she wants, but let it be a rando, or let it just be for pleasure. And it has to be because something's wrong with her, because she hates herself, because she's going through something. Like, it's really puritanical. I think the world building is ass. I think the description is muddled, and I can never picture anything when she's explaining what things are supposed to look like. I think the character building is non-existent. I think the sex scenes, I may as well be reading one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Like, that's the level of steam that I'm getting out of those sex scenes. Dr. Seuss is what it's giving. Okay. It's bad, like really, really bad. And I'm not wrong about that. I'm concerned that it's getting more popular, and I'm concerned that more people are putting money in that woman's pocket, if only because she's a Zionist. Like, for no other reason, if there's no other reason than because she's a Zionist, but like, there are other reasons for me to dislike this book series, including the fact that it's bad. Oh, and I tried to read House of Sky and Breath, or House of Bumbles and I don't know what it's called. The way I didn't even get past page 45 because it was so bad. It was so bad. Yeah. Can I just take my glasses off because the glare is pissing me off? I hope that people who get back into reading because of ACOTAR can then go on to read books of a higher caliber. Okay, so this is the third thing that I was wrong about, which is kind of a key, kind of funny. I was convinced for years, because I literally never seen it. I did not know anything about it. I didn't know the plot beyond like what I was exposed to prior. I was convinced for years that Wicked was boring. I base that solely off of the fact that I think that Defying Gravity is a boring song musically. I still think that. I'm not gonna lie to you. Musically, it's not interesting to me. That being said, the way that movie worked my out, okay? It was so good. I loved it. I loved it. I'm not like a Wicked person, so like I loved Ariana as Linda. That being said, the way people were talking about her performance, I thought she was going to be eating down, like chomping, okay? And it was giving subtle. It was giving, you know, measured, studied, grounded in reality. That's what it was giving. It was not like over the top like some of the clips that I've seen of people doing Glinda. Like, oh fuck. I think Megan Hilty played Glinda. Anna, Kristen Chenoweth, I know, famously played Glinda, and Kristen Chenoweth is really close to Ariana, and she thought she did a fabulous job. So I'm waiting to see the second part of the movie to like pass my full judgment on like the performance that I think Ariana gave, but like, really, she ate. In comparison, no one is seeing Cynthia. Like, Cynthia gave the girls everything she had, and I watched that movie and I was like, I fear I see myself in Elphaba. I fear I see myself in the bitch turns into a puddle of water at the end. And then I thought about it more and I was like, nah, I'm Glinda. So either I'm the fake woke bitch who chooses comfort over advocacy, or I'm the bitch that turns into water. I hate that for me. But Fiyero, Jonathan, Bailey. I've never been so sad that a man is gay in my life. Nessa Rose was eating, even though her character sucks. Like, the actress who played her did a great job and the singing was excellent. Especially the actors who played baby little Nessa Rose and the actors who played baby Elphaba. They were so fucking cute. They were so adorable. The plot twist, so this again like was absolutely 100% new to me, but I remember I filmed myself before. I might put this on my Patreon or something, but I filmed myself before we went to the movie and I like gave my predictions, and one of my predictions was that Madame Morrible was going to be a villain, because how do you have a character named Madame Morrible and she's not a villain? But then like the plot twist at the end, ingenious, very well executed. And then taking it into Defying Gravity at the end of the movie, I said, oh, this is cinema. This is cinema, all right? I better be seeing these motherfuckers on the red carpet at the Oscars. And if I'm not, I will be very angry. That was an excellent film. Perfectly made. No notes. I say as a person who's never seen the stage play. I bet I'm gonna read the book and watch the stage play and be like, that could have been better. But like right now, I'm geeked, I'm eating, and no comment on that nasty little munchkin ass man. No comment. I hate his ass. It makes me so sad because like I made a video about the whole Ariana Grande is not a girl's girl situation. Again, I'll link it up in the cards. Ethan Slater's ex-wife through a source gave a statement to Page Six and was like, I can't believe this happened. Ariana Grande is not a girl's girl. And then there was like a year of nothing from her, right? And then through that year, Ariana and Ethan were kind of pushing the narrative of like nothing untoward really happened. You know, sometimes you just find love in the least expected places. Ariana's main line was, nobody knows the truth. I know the truth. And like that line from Eternal Sunshine, me and my truths, we sit in silence, right? And then Lily J released her article in The Cut about having her privacy ripped away from her as a therapist and how damaging that is. I don't know what your truth is, Miss Ariana, but I think her truth is fairly clear, which is that she thought she was happily married until you came into the picture. That's not funny. That's not funny at all. But she thought she was happily married until Miss Ariana Grande showed up. And then all of a sudden she wasn't. Left alone to raise a child after having survived preeclampsia and a traumatic birth. Thinking she was going to spend the rest of her life with her high school sweetheart. And then he started dating a celebrity. A bitch who's now on posters everywhere promoting the movie that they met on the set of. Yeah. And then in the midst of all of that trauma, releasing an album with a song called The Boy Is Mine. There's something demonic about that, to me personally. There's something demonic about that. But there's like more of a nuanced and considered take about Ariana Grande not being a girl's girl up in the video that I linked in the cards. But like, yeah, she stole that lady husband, allegedly. And is completely unremorseful about it, allegedly. And I knew that. And that's why I think Bach is nasty. And why every time he was on camera, I was like, okay. It's still wild to get the confirmation and know that like, you could really live a life for a year saying with your chest, oh, people don't know the full story. People don't know what's really going on. The only people who know the full story are me and Ethan, when like the full story is that you stole that lady's husband, allegedly. The next thing that I was wrong about this year, Tyla. I have a complicated relationship with Tyla, okay? Being from Mozambique, right above South Africa, I find Tyla to be troubling as an archetype, but interesting because of what she seems to instigate in Americans. There was like a whole discourse at the beginning of the year, 2024, about Tyla calling herself colored and not black, because in South Africa, there is this other racial category. There's like black, colored, Asian, like South Asian people are their own racial category, and then white. They have a really up racial history, which you can assume because apartheid. She referred to herself as colored as like a way to honor her mixed race heritage. She's not just black, she's also South Asian and white, and it's like a whole thing there. I went back and forth throughout the entire year thinking a lot about and feeling a lot about that idea of categorizing yourself as something other than black and white, because there is a very American outlook in terms of that, in terms of people saying to her, and eventually she was like beaten into it, like by the time the BET Awards came around, she was like, I'm black, yeah, I know that, shut up. Because there is a tendency in the United States in particular for people who are mixed race to use that mixed race identity as a way of distancing themselves from blackness. And the thing that we always hear from South African people discussing the topic of like the categorization of colored is, well, oh, this is a very American imperialist outlook. You just don't understand that race functions differently here than it does in the United States. And it's a similar thing that happens in a lot of parts of South America, where the one drop rule is kind of reversed there. Like if you are in any way white, then you can claim whiteness. Whereas in the United States, if you are in any way black, then you have blackness foisted upon you. And so there's an understanding that racial politics are different in different parts of the world. And I was trying to be open to that and trying not to just be like, sounds fishy here. And then I came to my graduate school. What did Tyler Perry say? He said it's only hoity-toity Negroes. They don't like his movies. I don't remember exactly the term that he used, but I became one of those immediately, because I read an article in particular in my graduate school program that is about like race in the Indian Ocean world and race in like Eastern Africa. And they focused on South Africa and how the categorization of colored was created. And this idea that colored people exist in South Africa as a way, like functionally, the categorization of colored and also the process of marrying white people and marrying South Asian people and marrying like people who are not black, basically, by black people, is a function of social mobility. And then creating this category of colored allows for a level of social mobility that is not accessible to you just by being black. When white settlers are coming to South Africa, they're looking for colored brides in particular. And so there was this practice of women going and sleeping with random sailors so that they could get pregnant and have a baby that would then be desirable to a white settler who is coming and trying to establish themselves in the South African territories. And through having this colored baby with a random sailor that they have no connection to, they can then use their child, if it's a girl in particular, use their colored child to intermarry with a white family, so that now both the woman who had that, like both the mother and the child, are able to access social mobility in a way that they never would have been without that. That is inherently anti-black. That's not race functioning in a different way than it does in the United States. I mean, the particulars of it are different, but there's still this sense of having to dilute your blackness in order to have access to any of the comforts of life. So like, I get the drum that they're trying to beat. I just did some more reading and now I know what it actually is. I just think it makes me uncomfortable because it is rooted in anti-blackness. And I think that's the point. I think the point is that that racial categorization, Americans were rightfully pointing out that is rooted in anti-blackness, and they were met with, well, you just don't understand South Africa. But like, the more I've read about it, I do understand. And I mean, I knew this from Jump, you know. I'm like, I do understand South Africa, but I didn't have the sources to cite. Now I have the sources to cite, and I can say to you, yeah, it is rooted in anti-Blackness. You can still do it. You can still say it. You can still do whatever you want. I'm just also going to point it out and tell you what it is. And the final thing that I was wrong about in the year of 2024 was that the sex lives of college girls was not going to be good without Renee Rapp. At the end of last season, or like in between last season and this season, like filming, Renee Rapp announced that she was going to be leaving the Sex Lives of College Girls. And I was really sad because her character was my favorite. Like, I love Leighton. I love the like storyline of her being queer and figuring out her queerness and coming out and like having her little hoe phase and like everything going on with Leighton. We were all curious about like how they were going to write the character out, what they were going to do with her, what was going to happen, all of that stuff. She ends up being in the first 2 episodes, and then she transfers to MIT because the math program at MIT is so much better than the one at Essex, which is a school that everybody goes to. And then we get introduced to a whole bunch of new characters who can kind of like fill this hole that she has left. But also the other thing is that the relationships that each of the characters are in shift significantly from what was being set up at the end of last season. Bella was like alone at the end of last season. Whitney had just broken up with Kanan because Kanan like made her feel bad about herself. And then Kimberly and Kanan had kissed. And Whitney and Kimberly were starting this like little feud because Kimberly lied to Whitney about kissing Kanan. And Whitney was like going to move into a sorority house. It was going to be a whole thing. And then they announced that like Renee wasn't going to be there for the season. So they kind of, you can see in the first episode how they were having to like reshuffle all the plot points and basically undo everything that they did at the end of the second season to make the third season work. But it also ended up being for the best because the second season honestly was not that good. Like the first season I thought was really fun and really good, and then the second season I was just like, nothing made sense. None of the plot arcs lasted long. Like they didn't commit to anything that they were doing in season 2. So it was kind of good that they ended up undoing all of it at the beginning of season 3. Kimberly and Kanan quickly realized that they don't have chemistry. And because that plot point is no longer happening, and also because like one of the girls is already going to be leaving the show, we can no longer have Whitney off in this sorority house. So Whitney decides to leave the sorority house. She moves back in with Bella, Leighton, and Kimberly, and then Leighton decides that she's going to transfer, so they get a new roommate. Who is that screaming bitch from TikTok? I'm so sorry. I don't like that girl. Yeah, I'm tired of that yowling girl from Lawrence. I don't want to see her sing anymore. She's kind of cute as an actress. I will, though, say that her singing sounds like Sabrina Carpenter doing an impression of Christina Aguilera doing an impersonation of Aretha Franklin. And that many steps removed from Aretha Franklin, it stops giving anything, not even Great Gowns, Beautiful Gowns. The audition scene where she's trying out for the School Musical and the director's like, you have no substance, she kind of ate her up. Like, I feel like, do the writers like her? Because they kind of served the most accurate read of that woman as a singer that I have ever seen. That being said, can I sing? No. So who the fuck am I to talk? But I'm just here to say, I like the Sex Lives of College Girls when the girls are sticking to their own races. Not me being reductive. I'm not trying to be. I'm really not trying to be. It's just that, like, Kimberly and Kanan had potential that was never seen. Whitney, and it's actually also not true because Whitney and Kanan didn't make sense as a couple. They did not have chemistry. And they just it just felt like they were together because they were both Black, and the audience was tired of seeing her with these like scrawny little white men. And then Bella has also only dated white men. So getting to see my queen with a nice guy, with Arvind this season, period. Exactly. Now, my friend Claire did say that he looks like Lin-Manuel Miranda. That's something that I'm never going to be able to unsee. And lusting is canceled now. That being said, he's still a fun character. He's still a sweetie pie. He's still a cutie. I'm sure they're going to find a way to ruin him for me. Because Minnie Kaling hates a monoracial South Asian couple. She hates that with a passion. So I was sure they're going to find a way to ruin him for me. However, I'm having a great time so far, and it seems like Bella is too. They deserve to have a sex scene. Or 4. She's fucked so many people. Give us what we want, okay? If you want to ruin it, sure, whatever. I get it. They're in college. They're probably not going to end up together, especially not with Bella's personality being what it is. But, like, give us a sex scene, damn it. Several of them. That all being said, that is everything that I was wrong about in the year of 2024. Well, wrong, and also, like, that I have more complicated feelings about. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it to this part, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That actually really helps the algorithm to know what it is that y'all enjoy watching from me. And if you are also watching this video, let me know what you were wrong about this year. Or honestly, let me know what you were right about this year, because I love a self-righteous bitch who is always right about everything. That's not me, unfortunately. And I've had to learn that lesson the hard way multiple times throughout my life. But I think I'm finally coming to accept the fact that I am wrong often and loudly. So leave me a comment down below with what you were right or wrong about this year. And if you don't have anything to say about what you were right or wrong about, please just comment algorithm, because that also really helps the algorithm to know that y'all like my videos. I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!